Hey there, you all, and welcome to technically the second episode of the MSC podcast, the Mississippi Soccer Channel. My name is Robert Chapman, and as I stated previously in my extremely brief post, there's a massive network of players, coaches, parents, teams, club teams, high school teams, JUCO teams, and four-year institution teams that span the breadth of the Magnolia State. So the plan for this here podcast is to host as many conversations as possible with the people who have helped make soccer in Mississippi what it is today, as well as those who are shouldering its future. You know, if you think about it, some of the old school names associated with Mississippi soccer still have their irons in the fire, helping to direct and move it forward to those young names, 17, 18, 25, 30, those names that are in that young generation, going hand in hand with that from the previous generation to help move Mississippi soccer forward. You know, I'm in my early 40s. I'm 41, and in my head, I can still very clearly remember my playing days where moms and dads did their best to coach the little ones in early rec ball, but I also remember being under the tutelage of knowledgeable coaches who coached the game and didn't necessarily just coach their kid. They coached the game. I remember the ODP shirts that we would wear to school with the 3 digits on the back of them. Not everyone had one of those. I only had one. And the true talent really kept going up and up and up, and they would get more shirts and more shirts and more shirts. Soccer isn't an afterthought anymore. Not one of those other sports that schools have to outfit. Instead, it's the one that players are drawn to, giving American football a run for its money. You know, how many times has it said in the past that, you know, if that person didn't play football or if that person didn't play softball or baseball, he or she would be an amazing soccer player. Just think about what he or she would bring to our team. You know, nowadays we've got plenty of soccer players they're mentioned that, you know, if they didn't play soccer, they would be a great football player or a great softball player. It happens all the time. So when we say it's taken hold in Mississippi, it's not in the early days of development, not by this in the slightest. The game is very much anchored to the Mississippi soil and growing. And just like anything that's grown in the Mississippi soil, it's flourishing. Do you know that during World War II, when the German POW camp was in place over at Butts Park, over where Clinton and Jackson meet, the Germans divided themselves into teams and they would play on Sundays. Tell me there's no history of the sport here in this state. You know, come to think of it, that would actually be a really great episode. I need to write that one down real quick. That's a good one. I got some people who could help me out with that. This podcast will also very much follow the progression of high school soccer for the private and public schools, both for the boys and the girls seasons. And I'd love to have conversations about the club teams and the many tournaments offered around the state. We have some amazing parks out in Mississippi where our soccer fields are housed. I just can't get over how much soccer is present any given weekend, calendar-wide. That needs to be talked about more, and I believe that we can handle that right here. So what will this thing end up looking like? That's a really good question. A good majority of content will be able to be found on our website, MississippiSoccerChannel.com. That's MississippiSoccerChannel.com. I'll have some written items up, a good amount of video podcasts, some photo galleries, who knows what else. We'll share original content as well as reshare other content on our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. You know, not only do our programs around the state do a wonderful job of developing players, winning games, hanging banners, but they also do a great job of producing content. And it's one of my goals to share the content that I come across to the community that we aim to build right here. Give us a follow on those social media pages, like our content, share our content. That will play a key role, I promise. You can find us at Mississippi Soccer or at Mississippi Soccer Channel. I'll have some score updates in some sort of regular fashion once the seasons are going. We'll figure out what that looks like. And when playoffs approach, I'll help you keep an eye on what's going on, where, with who, what division, all that kind of stuff. One of my goals is to create a continued conversation with coaches, players, parents, directors, you name it, all from across the state of Mississippi. I've already gotten a few interviews lined up to kick things off, and I can't wait to build the network and share it with the community at large. There are myriads of names out there, people I'm sure that you've heard of or have come into contact with. But I want to help put faces to teams, to voices, to names, to programs, you name it. In my time as a player, my time as a coach, and particularly my time as a parent, there is no better feeling than seeing an old friend, a former teammate, or former coach, and having that quick catch up right in the middle of the field that brightens your day. that exists at all levels, and the aim is to build on the network already created and strengthen the camaraderie in Mississippi's soccer world in order to assist in growing the talent here in the Magnolia State. I've been a longtime soccer fan and a longtime podcaster, so I figured let me use my interest and my talents and my skills to help spread the joy that is the beautiful game. So here's to a hopeful start with the Mississippi Soccer Channel. If you're interested in reaching out, or you know of a coach, a league organizer, a trainer, or anyone else that would have a great story, reach out to me. Shoot me a direct message, a DM on the socials. I've already had a few people do that already, which I appreciate. Or you can send me an email at therobertchapman@gmail.com. I know that's the most humble email address in the world, but I'll take it. I hope to see you around soon. Keep that backline high, keep your head on a swivel, and stay locked in right here with the Mississippi Soccer Channel. I'll see you around.